escape the hard work. If you try to escape the hard work, you get crushed like a pancake. The only way out is hard work and dedication.
How much stress can you adopt? Because your mind manages to magically attract the things you want.
What you need, sir, for income is a job. God is never going to give you an easy way out. There's never going to be a time you send an email to a celebrity and say, $50,000 isn't even money to you and it would change my life. And the celebrity go, okay. Because I get those all day. That's never going to happen. You're never going to win the lottery. You're never going to hold a coin that just goes to the moon. None of it's ever going to happen. Your only way out is shit. And you come out covered in bruises, scrapes, bumps, scars, you name it. You gotta fight through the brambles. The only way out is hard work. That's the only way out. You people deserve to be poor. Guys, karmic retribution. Hello, full circle. God has you because you needed it. You deserved it. You can't escape the hard work. If you try to escape the hard work, you get crushed like a pancake. The only way out is hard work and dedication. I don't want to hear any more about holding your bags. That's not a job. Scrolling Twitter's not a job. Writing in a Telegram group's not a job. Writing on Discord's not a job. Reading about how the SWIFT system is going to be replaced by Ripple, coming all over yourself, dreaming of an imaginary world where your $400 has become $4 million is not a job. None of it's a job. A job is where you build something that matters. It's where you dedicate yourself to something that exists. Because no matter how much bag holding or Twitter scrolling you do, you end up poor. Whereas if you had a job and you were actually working, you would have something built. Even half the house is still a house. So none of you have done any work in years. The people who have dedicated themselves to have cash flow, to be paid cash money every month, will now have money to buy the dip. And the people who were sitting on their bags are here to be replaced. We're going to lose. We're going to be replaced financially by the people who were working, because it is hard work and dedication. That's the only way out.
Truthfully, there's no light without dark, and every positive has a disadvantage, and there's always good and bad to everything. But I feel like you are always at the same level of contentment. It's kind of like as a man, you're at a certain level of contentment with who you are. Some people are super depressed, and some people are super happy. But I'm no more or less content than I was when I was a struggling fighter who couldn't pay the bills. But you're happy with who you are, and you're doing your best, and you have a certain mindset, a certain happiness level. And then you may transgress through the world of finance and global stardom, etc. But you get there, and then you have all the disadvantages that come with that. And then you have the advantages also. I'm not complaining, more money, more problems, but at least you're rich. But then you're at the same level of contentment. I don't think you're any more or less content anywhere along the journey. I don't feel any different than 2019, if that makes sense. It's really interesting when I try and analyze my successes and how well I've done across the last 3 years. And I feel like it's pretty similar to air resistance. As a car is trying to go faster and faster, the wall of air it's competing against gets stronger and stronger. And I do believe where you get to in your life is down to how aerodynamic you are as an individual. How much stress can you adopt? Because your mind manages to magically attract the things you want. But I think it just reminds you of what you really want, and it allows you to find energy all the time. If you manifest yourself having a perfect physique, you're going to be a lot more motivated in the gym. It's not the thought that makes the physique, it's the gym that makes the physique. However, the manifestation makes you want to go to the gym. So I do believe that if you understood the power of your thoughts, you'd never think negatively ever again. But I think manifestation works in another way. I also think that once you understand all of the bad things and good things that come into your life are a perfect plan from God himself, you're going to be a lot less affected by the bad things. If something bad happens to you as part of God's plan, he knows what he's doing. In the end, you're going to be happy it happened. I often ask people, is there anything bad that's happened to you in the past at the time you were distraught about that you now wish didn't even happen? And truthfully, you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it all happened because of. So if you understand you're always going to get there eventually, why be upset about it now, right? If you know in a year from now you'll be glad it happened, why be upset about it happening now? You have to be cerebral enough about things. And I think if you take these approaches, if you take the approach of manifesting what you want so you're constantly motivated and understanding all the bad things that happen to you are just a lesson and one day you're going to get over it, it's pretty easy to be a happy, contented, balanced person. I don't think there's any serious magic to happiness. I think it's a choice and it's pretty easy to do. I think the unhappiest people in the world don't have any struggle at all. You often find that people who are struggling but know exactly what they're supposed to do, if they're getting up every day and they're grinding and they're working hard and they don't have what they want yet, but they believe they're going to get it and they're trying their very best and they're dedicating themselves, they're very happy. Perhaps the people who are born with a trust fund and unlimited money and have no struggles in their life and they have no objectives to try and conquer are truly the miserable ones. Perhaps we're built for struggle. Perhaps the human mind and soul and spirit is built to struggle. Perhaps we're built to suffer. I know me as a man, I'm happiest when I suffer. Why did the emperors we discussed earlier all constantly try and expand their empires?
Because they wanted to
struggle.
Yeah.
They wanted difficulty. Would you play a video game if it was easy? If you could never die? I mean, cheats get boring pretty quick. You play it because it's hard. That's the whole point of it. You're supposed to struggle with it. You're supposed to suffer with it. So I think a lot of people confuse these things and they sit and say, this is merely making me unhappy. Or, if I woke up and everything was just perfect, that'd be great for a few weeks. But if you just wake up and nothing ever goes wrong, I think that'd be quite depressing in its own way. That's the beauty of life, is the up and the down, because there's no light without dark.